Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Annamalayai Adiyenai ஆண்ட அன்றே ஆவியுடல் கொண்டாயனக்கோர் குறையுண்டோ குறையும் குணமும் நீ அல்லால் என்னேனிவற்றை என்னுயிரே எண்ணம் எதுவோ அது செய்வாய் கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினயிர் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே கண்ணே உந்தன் கழலினயிர் காதற் பெருக்கே தருவாயே. ஓம் அதிமதுர சாபஹஸ்தாம் அபரிமிதாம் மோதபான சௌபாக்யாம் அருணாம் அதிசய கருணாம் அபிநவ குலசுந்தரீம் வந்தே. ஓம் ஐம் ஹ்ரீம் ஸ்ரீம். Shri Arunachalam, Shri Arunachalam, Shri Arunachalam. Yesterday we saw we love only that which gives happiness to us. Very straightforward. We hate that thing which gives sorrow to us. And one more thing, we love ourselves the most. Is that not so? Unconditionally we love ourselves, whatever we are. So it indicates that our self, the real self, is the source of all joy or bliss. Why? We love only what gives us happiness. The very fact that we love ourselves the most indicates that our self should be the source of all happiness, source of all bliss. You understand? So what do we actually want in life? Is unalloyed bliss. So therefore we have to seek the self, which is of the nature of bliss, Ananda. You understand? Therefore we have to seek the self, which is blissful. And how to seek the real self? By asking the question or the inquiry, who am I? So the whole text is all about the inquiry, who am I inquiry only. Right? As we have seen yesterday, one Mr. Shivaprakasham Pillai, he put forth certain questions to Bhagavan, and Bhagavan answered when he was 21 years old, when he was at Virupakshi, that is 1902. So those question answers only we are seeing now. So the first question was, who am I? So the answer given by Bhagavan, I am not this body, or the sapta dhadus. Dhatus means what? The element, the different elements which makes this body, like flesh, blood, fat, marrow, all those things, bones. I am not. I am not the sense organs. I am not the organs of action. I am not the prana. I am not even the mind which thinks. I am beyond. I am not even the mind which I think, which thinks. No. Because I can see the thoughts in the mind as an object. So I am the seer should be something different. So the self is something different. So then who am I? The next question. So when you transcend beyond the body-mind, whatever remains as the pure awareness, the pure knowledge is my true nature. And what is the nature of the pure self? Awareness. Satchitananda. the pure existence, the knowledge and bliss. Sat Chit Ananda. These things we have seen yesterday. Then he goes on to say, when will the realization of the self be gained? When will I gain this realization? Only when the Drishya Padartham, the scene or the world, when it disappears, then the seer also disappears, and then I realize the true self. What's wrong? How can the world disappear? Why it disappears in the deep sleep also? There even the perceiver, the seer is not there. So similarly, if we can, in this waking state, be aware, awake, and then transcend the body-mind, then whatever remains is the pure awareness, that is the truth. As long as you see the Bheda Kakshigal, the differences, you don't see the self which is one. When you see the one, then you don't see the differences. You cannot have the idea of differences and also the idea of oneness at the same time. You understand? Like you cannot see the snake also and the rope also. See, only there is rope. But sometimes you see a snake when you are deluded. Then after some time when you inquire further, oh, this is rope only, you understand. Either you can have the vision of the snake or the rope. At the same time, you cannot have the vision of the snake and the rope. When you have the vision of the rope, the vision of the snake has gone for once and for all. So, only when the Dvaita Bhavana, the Bheda Bhavana, when it disappears, then there is Atma Bhavana, or the vision of oneness, the vision of the self. This is very clear. You cannot have both together. Meaning, you cannot have the vision of the world as we see it now, other than me. Everything is separate from each other and the world is other than me. This vision you will not have when you have the vision of the self. It's contradictory. So, this Dvaita Bhavana, this vision of the world which is separate or other than me should vanish once and for all. When will it vanish? The next question. Now, see this question, the next question is going to be very, very deep, very subtle. So it requires a lot of your attention, right? As I told you yesterday, we are in the PhD class, not in the primary or in the higher secondary. So it requires a lot of deliberation, a lot of contemplation. You understand? Right. Right. The seventh question, right? Today we have to see the seventh question. When will the world, which is the object seen, be removed? When will the world, that is the seen things, will be removed? The answer is when the mind, which is the cause of all cognition and of all actions, become quiescent, the world will disappear. Quiescent. Meaning the mind only creates the world. When the mind subsides in the heart, or when the mind subsides, everything is gone. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. It is said in the Upanishad. The mind alone is the cause for the bondage and liberation. When the deep sleep, the mind is in the unmanifest form. There are no differences, no world perceived, no seer also. But in the waking state or in the dream state, the mind comes up. And then the world of names and forms. So therefore, only when the mind subsides, so through meditation or self-inquiry, when the mind which is turbulent, which is creating a lot of Bheda, when that mind disappears or when it subsides, then all the world, everything will subside. So therefore, we have to now not only tame the mind, but transcend the mind. You understand? So when the mind, which is the cause of all cognition and of all actions, become quiescent, or when it disappears, the world will disappear. Now, what is the nature of the mind? See how step by step it is developed, the thought. So when you say the mind, when it quietens or when it subsides, everything is gone, then tell me what is the nature of the mind, or how to transcend the mind. The next question. Then Bhagavan answers. See, this 8th and 9th, both are very important question and answer. This forms the crux of Bhagavan's teaching. It requires a lot of deliberation. What is the nature of the mind? This clarity you won't get anywhere else. You have to come to Bhagavan to get this kind of a clarity. As I told you, other scriptures they use beautiful jargons, but it is more deluding than revealing. Shabdajalam Maharanyam Chitta Brahmana Karanam, Adi Shankara says. More you study, more there is means what? Delusion. Because the words are, always misleading. So here see, what is called mind is a wondrous power residing in the self. I would like to read it from Tamil also, because it's very important. Please bear with me, even if you don't understand Tamil, don't worry. Manam என்பது ஆத்மஸ்வரூபத்தில் உள்ள ஒரு அதிசய சக்தி. ஒரு அதிசய சக்தி. That is why I wanted to read that. இங்கிலீஷில் அது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். அதாவது மனம் என்பது ஆத்மஸ்வரூபத்தில் உள்ள ஒரு அதிசய சக்தி. Meaning, mind is nothing but the mysterious power which is within the self, our own self. So, our own self is there, and inherent in that self there is a mysterious power which is called as the mind, which creates everything. That's what it said here. It causes all thoughts to rise. So the mind only causes all thoughts to rise. Apart from thoughts, there is no such thing called as mind. So when the thoughts flow, it is called as mind. Gurudeva Swami Chinmayananji, he gives this example. When the water flows, it is called as river. When the water is no more flowing, will you call it as river? No. So here, when the thoughts flow, when thoughts rise, it is called as the mind. So no thoughts meaning no mind. You understand? So what is the nature of the mind? The nature is, apart from thoughts, there is no such thing as mind. Therefore, a thought is the nature of the mind. Apart from thoughts, there is no independent entity called the world. See, this is the real googly. You know what is googly? In cricket terms, googly means he delivers the ball in a different way. Let us say leg spin, but it becomes off spin. What happened? Therefore, thought is the nature of the mind. Apart from thoughts, there is no independent entity called the world. See, we all think there is a world, solid, three-dimensional, physical, and we are born in this world, and we see the world through thoughts. This is what we think. But what Bhagavan, he says, apart from thoughts, there is nothing called as mind. Because nobody has seen any world apart from thoughts. There are thoughts, therefore you see a world. When there are no thoughts in the deep sleep, you don't see a world. In Samadhi, there are no thoughts, you don't see a world. So only through thoughts you see the world. Apart from thoughts, nobody has ever seen a world. Therefore it is said, world is nothing but only thoughts. Manomayam, Vrittimayam. This is very difficult to digest. Swamiji, okay, you say the world is nothing but thoughts. But there are so many people. They have their own worlds or what? Yes and no. The others also come into our thoughts and in our mind only. It's part of our thoughts only. So there is no question of whether others have got thoughts, others have got world. This question is not at all valid. You know why? I will tell you why. In the dream, if you dream about some Suppan, Kuppan, Raman, Soman, when you get up, you don't wonder what happened to that Kuppan, Suppan, Raman, Soman. They are part of your mind, they are not real. So there is no question of wondering what would have happened to that Kuppan, Suppan, Raman, Soman. What about their worlds? What about their lives? When you are awakened, the very Suppan, Kuppan is part of your mind, your own projection. They are not real. So what to talk about their lives after you get up? And here, even this person is part of the mind. So he also is unreal. What to talk about others? As I say, the Suppan Kuppan in the dream, now also I say all these people are unreal. I should include even this personality is unreal, false. So therefore, when there is mind, there is projection of the world, which includes my body, mind, my personality also. Please always remember this. If you say all the others are illusion or false and I am the reality with the body, mind, then you become a Rakshasa like Hiranyakashipu. Even myself is false, unreal. Nane poi, en anbum poi. So, it's very fascinating, is it not? When the mind rises, there is a world of names and forms. As in the dream, as in the waking state. When the mind subsides, as in the deep sleep, there is no world, there is no perceiver of the world. So, the world is nothing but thoughts. Very hard to digest. Manomayam. In Upadesa Saram, Bhagavan says, all the thoughts rise depending on one thought called as I thought. நான் எழுந்த பிறகுதான் மற்ற எல்லாம் எழ முடியும். Only when I rises, then all the other things rise. So therefore, all the other thoughts are included in this I thought, dependent on the I thought. So I thought is a moolam, is a substratum of all the other thoughts. When you inquire what is this I thought also disappears. And what remains is a pure awareness. So this is how Bhagavan takes us deep, step by step by step, into our own self. So we will see. Here he says, therefore thought is the nature of the mind. Apart from thoughts, there is no independent entity called the world. In deep sleep, there are no thoughts and there is no world. In the states of waking and dream, there are thoughts and there is a world also. You understand? In the deep sleep, no world, no seer, no world. In the dream and waking, when the mind arises, then there is the world and the seer of the world. So, just as a spider emits the thread of the web out of itself and again withdraws it into itself, likewise the mind projects the world out of itself and again resolves it into itself. When the mind comes out of the self, the world appears. Therefore, when the world appears to be real, the self does not appear. And when the self appears, the world does not appear. Like the spider, bringing out its own saliva and then, creating the beautiful web. Like that, the mind only projects everything. And then the spider withdrawing everything into itself, the mind, it dissolves everything into itself. So apart from mind, there is no world. That is what it said here. So therefore, when you see the world, which is projected by the mind, which is full of differences, you don't see the Atma, the self, which is abedam, which is one without the second. When you have the vision of the self, one without the second, where the mind subsides, there you don't see any differences. Mind only creates all the differences. The vision of self can happen only when the mind disappears. When the mind disappears, everything goes, all the differences, all the world of names and forms. So therefore, when you see the world full of differences, then Atma Darshanam, the vision of self is not. Not means what? As if obscure, hidden. When you have the vision of the self very clearly, it means the mind has disappeared. Then there are no differences. You won't see any differences. Yesterday I told you, Kalla Kanda Nayakan, Nayakanda Kalla Kanda. If you see the stone, you don't see the elephant. If you see the elephant, you don't see the stone. Elephant made out of stone. If you see the elephant without the idea of stone, you get scared, oh elephant. But when you see the elephant as a stone only, it's only a stone, you will not be scared. At the same time, you will not have the idea that, oh, it is real elephant also and stone also. You cannot have this. You understand? Okay. Moving on. Therefore, when the world appears to be real, the self does not appear. And when the self appears, shines, the world does not appear. When one persistently inquires into the nature of the mind will end the leaving the self as the residue leaving the self. When you inquire what is this mind, manasam tu kim margane krite naiva manasam marga arjavat. When you start, this is Upadesa Saram, when you start inquiring what is this mind, then he says the mind disappears. When you start inquiring, truly inquiring within, he is going to help us how to inquire also. Then the mind disappears. When the mind disappears, all the differences, the world of names and forms, everything will disappear. And what remains? The pure self. What is that self? Anandam, pure bliss. And which is not conditioned by anything. Therefore it is Anandam. Please understand, which is not conditioned by anything is Ananda. Whichever is conditioned, Kshanikam, Dukkam, Dukkam. Whichever is conditioned is Dukkham. Whichever is unconditioned is Ananda. Anandam is not an emotion of the mind. Anandam is total, unconditional existence is Ananda. There is no conditioning of body mind. There is no limitation of body mind. Therefore, the self is free of everything, infinite, without beginning and end, and it is Anandam. What is referred to as the self is the Atman. When you say self, in Sanskritam it is called as Atman. Atman, the self. See, Atma means I. In Sanskritam, Atma means I. When you identify with the body mind, that is called as conditioned I, Jivatma. When you transcend beyond the body mind, it is pure self. Shuddhatma, Paramatma, whatever. So Atma means it is the self, I. When you consider yourself with the body mind, you become Jivatma. Conditioned Atma means the person who is suffering or enjoying. When you transcend the body mind, you become the true self, Shuddhatma. You understand? The mind always exists only in dependence on something gross. See, mind cannot exist just of its own. Only holding on to the gross body it can exist. That is why it said, identification of the gross body is the real cause of bondage. Mind cannot just exist like that. So therefore it is said, the mind always exists only in dependence on something gross. It cannot stay alone. It is a mind that is called the subtle body or the soul, Jiva. So mind itself is called as the subtle body, Sukshma Shariram. Gross body is the physical body, is called gross body. Mind is called as subtle body, Sukshma Shariram. Along with the mind, I am called as Jiva. You understand this idea? So this 8th question and answer is very important. here Bhagavan blows away this world as nothing but Manomayam. I am going to tell you one important thing. In traditional Vedanta Shastra, they always talk about macrocosm and microcosm. Meaning, the Brahmanda and this Pindanda, macrocosm, microcosm. Why they talk about that? Because of, with reference to the body. With reference to the body, whatever is outside they call it as macrocosm. This is microcosm, something like that they talk about. But here Bhagavan blows away the whole world with one stroke, saying all this is Manomaya. So there is no question of macrocosm, microcosm here. Everything is blown away, saying it is all Manomaya. Gone. What remains then? All these are thoughts, which are imagination of the mind, nothing else. So then what remains? When all the thoughts subside, when the mind subsides, whatever remains is the true nature. That is why Bhagavan's philosophy is so simple, so uncomplicated. But this is very difficult to digest. See, why Adi Shankara and others, they have constructed this beautiful Vedanta, I would say constructed, very consciously, I am using this word, constructed this, Advaita Vedanta stuff, saying that, this Brahman and Atman, that consciousness which is behind this names, behind this world of names and forms, and that consciousness which is inside, this is Brahman, this is Atman, and then Brahma, Atma, Ikya, Bodha, all this stuff is only because we are unable to digest the fact that everything is mind. When you can understand that this is nothing but mind, then there is no need for talking about Brahman, Atman, Aikya and all. Everything is blown away. This is Bhagavan. When you come to Bhagavan, when you can understand him in the right sense, everything is blown away and you are left alone with your own self. And there you are. You need not confuse yourself with anything else. This is the beauty of Bhagavan, I tell you. See, by Bhagavan's blessing, by God's grace, we have been introduced to Advaita Vedanta, traditional Adi Shankara's Advaita Vedanta, in a very early age, some good foundation. And then somehow Bhagavan came into life, and Bhagavan's this Atma Vichara. But more you understand Atma Vichara, more you get fascinated by it, and more you fall in love with Bhagavan. Because he is such a guru. He frees you from all intellectual stuff, and you become very peaceful. I tell you, it's very hard to understand all the Bhashya, what it means, and to break your head and then come to some sort of an understanding. But here Bhagavan, straight away he blows off everything. That's all. Finished. Enna Swamiji, just by understanding everything is mind, everything is done? Are you liberated? No, not that. See, this understanding helps you to go deeper within you. Because anyway, everything is mind stuff. Why should you worry too much about it? Why should you give too much value to it? Just forget about it. And the self alone is truth. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Therefore, you hold on only to the self, which is the truth. Everything else is just chumma. Let go, because anyway it is false. There ends the story. See, when I sit for meditation, I only tell myself, Udal ulag vittu, finished. Because Udal means this body, starting from this body, ulag, the world of names and forms, all are minds. So vittu, just don't worry about it, forget about it. Udal ulag vittu, Atma will nittanavai. Atma, the self alone is truth. You have to hold on only to that. Whatever may be the thoughts coming and going, don't worry, because Not worth it. It is all false. Whatever it may be. Udal ulak vittu. Vittu means what? It is all false. It is all minds. Mind itself is nothing. So Atma will nishtana. Why the self alone is truth. Hold on to that and be there. And then, there is no and then. That is all. Be there. Everything is done. This is Bhagavan for you. As long as the self shines, the mind is not, the world of names and forms not. When you see the world of names and forms, it means you don't have the vision of the self. Then what are these names and forms? Nothing but the mind. So now inquire into the mind. When the mind subsides, you are liberated. Meaning what? You remain as your own self. That's all. This is Bhagavan's philosophy of Atma Vichara. You need not worry too much about the space, the stars, the galaxies, and the micro, all those things. Because all is part of the mind. And mind is nothing but thoughts. In dream, why do we negate dream as false? Chumma. Because all those things are not there. It is just mind's projection. When we get up, we realize whatever we have seen in the dream is all chumma. Why chumma? It is not there. Mind is only chumma projecting. Now also, Bhagavan says, mind is only chumma projecting. He is not there, all these things. What do you mean, Swamiji? There are no people here sitting and listening? No. There is no Acharya talking? No. Crazy Swamiji. Meaning what? From the highest standpoint, it is not a separate existence, not different from each other. It is all one. This is the truth revealed by our rishis. Tat Tvamasi. You are that. That one. The mind creates all the differences. When the mind is taken care, when it is transcended, all the differences come to an end. And then there is peace. Okay, now how to handle the mind, how to go beyond the mind. What is the path of inquiry for understanding the nature of the mind? The next question. 9th question. What is the path of inquiry for understanding the nature of the mind? See here, be careful. This is the essence of Bhagavan's teaching, meaning self-inquiry, Atma Vichara. That which rises as I in this body is the mind. If one inquires as to where in the body the thought I rises first, one would discover that it rises in the heart. That is the place of the mind's origin. Even if one thinks constantly I, one will be led to that place of all the thoughts that arise in the mind. The I thought is the first. It is only after the rise of that the other thoughts arise. It is after the appearance of the first personal pronoun, I, that the second and third personal pronouns, that is you or he, she, it, appear. Without the first personal pronoun, there will not be the second and third. This மாதிரி clear யாரால சொல்ல முடியும்? I tell you, my God, Bhagavan is something else. See what he says, without I, there cannot be any other thoughts. Without a conscious entity, thoughts cannot just hang in the mid-air. Thoughts only can come into a conscious entity, that is me. So, first the idea that I am arises, and then only the other thoughts can rise. What is mind? Mind is nothing but these idam vritti and aham vritti. Idam vritti means all the other thoughts. Aham vritti means I thought. First there can be the idea of myself, And then my world, my wife, my children, my sukha, my dukkha. Everything depends on I only. If something happens in Ukraine, Gaza Strip, we are not that worried. It doesn't matter much. When it comes to my neighborhood, my house, myself, then I am disturbed. Why? Because the whole world revolves around only me, I. Please understand. I am working for my happiness, my fulfillment. I go to God for my welfare, to protect me, to give me liberation. See, இந்த மாதிரி ஏமாத்து வேலையெல்லாம் வேண்டாம். Don't try to cheat anybody. We are not going to God for God's sake. We are going to God only for our sake. We don't love anybody else except ourselves, I am telling you. We don't love any God or anybody else. We love only ourselves. Please be very straightforward. சும்மா அந்த கதையெல்லாம் வேண்டாம் நம்மகிட்ட. We don't go to God to pray, to worship Him. We worship only ourselves. Chumma, we use God as pickle to enjoy life. If God cannot give you anything, will you ever go to this God? If God cannot give you anything, let us say, not anything of this world or mukti or bhukti or mukti, will you ever go to Him? Why should I go to Him? Am I mad or what? ஒரு பிரயோஜனமும் இல்லை அந்த மனுஷனால, ஏன் அந்த மனுஷன்ட்ட நான் போகிறேன்? அவன் ஏதோ செய்வான்னு அப்பா சார், he will give me something someday. I tell you, chumma, don't cheat others or cheat yourself. We only love ourselves, we are only concerned about ourselves, and everything revolves only around me, I. Everything rises in me, everything subsides in me, full stop. But unfortunately, we identify with the body mind and say, I am this. But if you just go beyond that, the true self is Satyam. It includes everything. It is substratum of everything. So therefore, first the I thought rises. Me, I. The first person, I. And with reference to the first person I, always you define the second person as you. And then with reference to the first person I, you refer to somebody who is far away as a third person. He, she, it, they. Without the first person I, there cannot be the second or third person. Without the reference of first person. So therefore, when the first person himself is found to be false, unreal, not, there is no question of second or third person. This is the teaching of Bhagavan. So, when you inquire from where this I thought rises, we say na, I came, I went, I did this, I did that, we say. You know, I study scriptures, I study Upanishads, I study Brahma Sutra, Bhashya, Shankara Bhashya, Karach Kudichitena. Shankara, we say na. What is this I? Have you ever thought about it? From where this is rising and creating a havoc in your life? What is this I? Which is root cause of all your problems. When you inquire thus, very seriously within, giving attention to the I, from where it rises, then Bhagavan says, நான் என்றெழும் இடம் ஏதன நாட உள் நான் தலை சாய்ந்திடும் முந்தி பர ஞான விசாரமி துந்தி பர. So therefore, when the mind appears, the world appears. When the mind disappears, the world disappears. When the mind disappears, all the differences go and the self is revealed. Self shines. So what is the mind? The mind is nothing but thoughts. Thoughts also arises only to a conscious entity, to me, the I thought. So all the thoughts depend on this I thought. Without the I thought, no other thoughts can rise. So what is this I? This is the question. This is a central question. This is a central question of human existence. What is this I? I am so concerned of. Why I go to an astrologer, a Shastri, I am so concerned about my life, about me, about my wife, my children. Why I am concerned about my wife, my children? Because they give happiness to me. If that wife starts giving me trouble, unbearable, I divorce her. See, we don't love the wife or the children, we love only ourselves. When the children also start giving too much of pain, we say, Podunda, Tola. Go away, do whatever you want. Because we can't afford to lose our peace of mind for anything. So therefore, I am the hero. For me only I work. For me only I get married. For me only I beget children. For me only I save, I spend. For me only I go to temples. I do dhana dharma. Because I may accrue punyam for the other world. For me only I do sadhana. Why? I want to be liberated. I want to be liberated. Because I feel I am bound. I want to be liberated. That is why I go to a guru. Not for guru's sake. Forget about guru. I go to guru for my sake. When that guru start giving me pain, unbearable, what guru? No. Don't have any misconceptions. I live everything centered only around me. When this I is inquired upon and found to be false, everything is taken care. Doom, gone. All the worries, anxieties, fear, trouble, problems, everything gone. Once and for all. Because we are only concerned about this I. When this I is found to be not. Not means what? It's not. Happa. Habada. That is self-realization. When this I is found to be false. False means what? It was never, ever. It is a poi. It is a myth. It is not. When that is realized very clearly, then comfortably we say, Lord will take care of everything. Now we cannot say Lord will take care of everything. Why? We are so concerned about I. When I goes, everything goes. How to inquire from I, where this I thought is rising and troubling me. If you give your attention within and try to see within, where from this naandra unarvu, naanu solren illaya, and the unarvu, that idea, that thought, from where it is rising, you have to see. It's a different experiment actually. You must have done so much of experiment in the world outside. Now this experiment requires your attention to the inner world, to the very self, to me, the I. It cannot be helped because it's very subtle. Only this much idea can be given, pointers can be given. You have to conduct this experiment on yourself and find out the truth of yourself. When you find the truth, you will find the mind to be disappearing in the heart means what? In that self, in that truth. So when the first person goes, the second and third person, all the persons will go. Nothing remains. Now we are not concerned about anything because we are concerned only what will others think of me, what will the world talk of me, my prestige in the world, my image in the society. We are concerned only about all these things. The very I is false and there is nobody to talk anything about you. It's all chumma, very superficial. Very superficial. These Mahatmas, they know it's all false. So they are not troubled. They are not worried about anything. Chumma idam. Chumma means what? அந்த மாதிரி. So this is the essence of Bhagavan's teaching. Who am I? Very beautiful thought development, see. From the world. The world is அப்படியே நொறுக்கி, it are nothing but thoughts. Thoughts, yes. And what are the thoughts? It all depends on this I thought. And what is this I thought? There is nothing called the I thought. There is only the pure self. The self which is not conditioned by anything. The self which is conditioned by body and mind is called as the I thought, or the small I, the jiva, the personality, the Swami Ramana Swaroopanandaji. When the I which transcends the body mind, it has no name, no form, no qualities, nothing. So that I which transcends the body mind is my pure self, which is not conditioned by anything, and which is Anandam. When you remain there as your own self, not identifying with anything else, then you are happy, peaceful. That's it. And no more desire. You know why? Because you feel fulfilled totally. There is nothing more to seek. There is no desire for anything. Therefore, there is no rebirth. There is no death, because you know that the body only dies and you are the self which will not die. Since you are full, Purnam, no desire. When you don't have any desire, no rebirth. See, it's very simple. After this satsang, where will you go? Swamiji, I have booked a ticket for a matinee show. I am going to the cinema theatre. Swamiji, I am going to my in-laws' house. Swamiji, I am going to go out of town. According to your desire, your next destination. Swamiji, I feel very blessed. எங்க போனே எனக்கு ஒண்ணுமே மனமே எழ மாட்டேங்குது. Don't do that. இங்கே உட்கார்ந்துட கூடாது. பாவம் தானே ரமேஷ் and Akila. Suppose if you feel very fulfilled, you don't want to go anywhere else, because already you are fulfilled. We go out only to seek something. But when you are already fulfilled, there is no need to go anywhere, seek anything. There the mind subsides, and that is called as liberation. Pokkum varavum punagumilla punyani. There is no going or coming. As long as there are desires, you have to go somewhere to fulfill those desires. When all the desires have gone, because you feel the Puranam, there is no going or coming. When Bhagavan gave moksha to the Amma, he said, everything has subsided in her heart. She has gone through the experience of all her future lives. All the vasanas are gone. And our idhayathila அப்படியே ஒடுங்கிட்டான்னு சொல்றார் Bhagavan. No going or coming. For the Jivan Mukta, already the mind is gone. Already he is dead. There is no going and coming. So that is realization. That is liberation. When the mind goes totally along with the personality, the I thought, then everything is gone. When the first person goes, second and third person also goes, and nothing remains except the self. So in the Who Am I book, the 21 years old boy, in 7-8 questions, he has resolved all the mysteries of life. Everything. Whatever may be the Prasthanatraya. See, people are very, very proud, to talk about Prasthanatraya. I have studied Prasthanatraya with Shankara Bhashya. What nonsense. Have you inquired and found out your own self? Meaning what? I have studied all Adi Shankara's Prakarana Grantha. I have studied Bhagavad Gita. I have studied all Upanishads, major Upanishads. Everything is Shankara Bhashya, nothing less. And Brahma Sutra, finished everything. But this lad, without studying anything, he has realized that, and within 7 question and answer, he has given out everything. And nothing more to know. Nothing more to know. I tell you, there is nothing more to know. You study anything you want. You study Uddhava Gita, Ashtavakra Gita, whatever Gita you want to study. Whatever Upanishad, Mandukya with Karika, whatever you want to study, you study. No, Brahma Sutra with Shankara Bhashya. Anything you study, there is nothing more than this. When you inquire what is this mind, you understand mind is nothing but thoughts. And apart from thought, there is no world. When you inquire what is this thought, all the thoughts rise because of the I thought, because of I. When you inquire what is this I, you find there is no I. When there is no I, you are sitting on this carpet. When this carpet is removed, where do you go? When there is no I, there is nothing. So this is it. Here there is no question of Brahma, Atma, Ikya, Bodha and all. Why? Because with the very first stroke, he has destroyed this world. Saying that, it's all Manomayam. So there is no question of world. There is only question of thoughts. And thoughts also cannot arise without you. You please think about this one idea. Can thoughts arise without me? See, the Western psychologists, these people, they think, I think, therefore I am. But our rishis and munis, they have found out, I am, therefore I think. See, it makes a big difference. For them, the self, the existence is only inference. There are thoughts, I am able to think, therefore I am. But for the great rishis, I am, the existence is very, very real. And depending on that existence, the thought rises. I am, therefore I think. It is not I think, therefore I am. You understand the difference? So therefore our existence is not conditioned by anything. Not by any thoughts. So here we will stop today. So what time we started? 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
It's almost 11. We will stop here because it's very concentrated stuff. You need a lot of time to assimilate. And we'll open up for question and answer for the next 20 minutes.
Is there a time to practice pure mind?
No.
Or is it background?
No, there is no particular time and any time. But you know what? You need a lot of sattva to even inquire. So your mind should be very fresh and alert. That is the only prerequisite. When your mind is dull, when you don't have a proper sleep in the night, or when your stomach is overloaded, when you are dull, you can't do anything. You only sleep. So mind should be alert and fresh, sattvic. That is the only prerequisite. Whenever you are inspired, that is the right time to meditate or inquire. That's all. Even when you are in your rest room, where you don't rest, there also you can inquire. Who is excreting now? So I'm joking. Huh? Some people say, no, there you should not chant Lord's name. You should not. No, you can inquire anywhere you want.
Swamiji, please clarify regarding about Manolaya, Manomaya and Manonas.
Why should you need that explanation now? You have achieved Manolaya or Manonasha. When it comes, we will discuss that. See, why I am saying, when we have not even taken the first step, you are talking about the 15th, 20th step. Manolaya, Manonasha and all, very advanced. Why should we worry about it now? Let it come. We will face it. See, why I am saying this? Because then we start intellectualizing everything. See, now what is the job given to you? You inquire about the self. That you should do. You are now raising another question of Manolaya, Manonasha. Why should we worry about that? When it comes, the Bhagavan who is within will guide you. Otherwise, what happens? Now only we start building another concepts, another sort of images, another concept, and we get lost only there. Now it is only said you inquire. Forget about Manolaya, Manonasha and all. You inquire about the self. When the Manolaya happens, the Lord within will help you, will guide you. He will take you to Manonasha. See, these two technical words given by Bhagavan, Manolaya and Manonasha, is sometimes the mind can enter into some sort of a samadhi where you are not very aware, at the same time you are in a very different state which is not very useful. Manolaya. It's a very technical term which is only very valid for advanced yogis. Why should we worry about it now? Manonasha means complete annihilation of the mind. That happens to the great jnanis who are in a very, very higher state. Ippaye adapati yosikkanu. Then I start explaining that. Then the mind builds another, concept and imagery. No need. We have to now dive deep and inquire. Everything will be taken care. See, Bhagavan in his Ulladunarpada Anubandham, he says the scholarship is the biggest hurdle, he says, obstacle, he says, for the self-realization. Scholarship is required to some extent. You should understand, you should know things. But there is nothing more you need to study or understand. Or no. You have to now start experimenting. Because this scholarship, it creates some sort of ahankara. And not only that, it creates a lot of doubts in your mind. And then what happens? It becomes a hurdle. Becomes an obstacle. So Bhagavan, what he says, from all the scriptures, when you understand this much, that Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayoho, mind alone is responsible for the bondage or liberation. Now start inquiring what is this mind. When you start inquiring the mind arises only with the I. So what is this I? Hold on to that and inquire. That is the way to go back to the source and get rid of this samsara. Instead of that, if you start building more ideas, more concepts, more imageries, then we are going astray. You understand what I'm saying? See, I'm not finding fault. Please understand me in the right spirit. You understand? I'm trying to explain something very subtle, very, very deep. I'm trying to explain what mind does. Instead of going back to the source, it goes out astray. It is very comfortable, it enjoys. To go deep, it will not. It will resist. That is why everything else is easy, but vichara is very difficult. Dhyana or vichara is very difficult. Everything else is easy because the mind doesn't want to commit self-suicide. Anything else?
I'm very curious to know what the next question is. Just how will the mind become quiescent. I know what is the next
No, that
question
is the
that
answer
comes.
now.
The
Quiescent means what?
the biggest thing is minimizing thoughts.
Why to minimize thought? There is no thought now. We have reached a state where there are no thoughts.
Right.
See, we are not now interested in minimizing the thought. We have gone into a state where there are no thoughts now. By inquiring, who is this I?
Right.
See, Bhagavan will tell you in the next verses, question and answer. Whatever may be the thoughts, don't worry about any of the thoughts. You hold on to the central thought, I. Who am I? So it's not the question of minimizing thoughts, it is brushing aside all the thoughts. So what happens when you are focusing your attention only on the I thought, when you are not interested in any other thoughts? Then what happens? The I thoughts go deep within you and it merges in the self or it disappears. So there are no thoughts then. So here the idea is not minimizing the thought, it is finding the source of all thoughts and getting rid of all thoughts. You can understand Tamil?
Ah,
தமிழ் உங்களுக்கு சொல்கிறேன். இப்போ பகவான் என்ன சொல்வார்னா, குப்பைன்னு தெரிஞ்சுன்னா இது நல்லது கெட்டதுன்னு பொறுக்கக்கூடாது, அப்படியே கூட்டி தள்ளிடணும். You know what Bhagavan says, if when you find it's a garbage, there is no point in saying segregating, this is a good garbage, bad garbage. Garbage should be just wiped out clean. So when all the thoughts are garbage, there is no question of minimizing or spiritualizing or purifying and all. It's all garbage, just throw it out. How? By inquiring the source of all thoughts, that is I. You get rid of all thoughts and be free. Because as long as you are minimizing the thought, there will be coming another situation where the thought will be maximizing also. It's all in the prakriti, in the nature. When you make it less, sometimes it becomes more also. Less, more, less, more. Involution, evolution. You get rid of the root, the seed which is causing the samsara. That is his I. So he is going still deeper. See, in the Vyavahara only, Swamiji, how to attain some peace of mind, how to minimize the thought, how to be happy, adallam. But the real seeker says, how to get rid of the samsara, which is causing me so much of pain, sorrow. That is like Nachiketas, like Sri Rama in Yoga Vashishta. Inquiring deep, how to get rid of this whole samsara. I don't want, temporary little bit peace of mind, little bit of, clarity, little bit of, polished, sophisticated existence. We have to always, be compassionate to everybody, love everybody. So, idella nalla irukku ulagathula. But all those things will not help you to get away with this samsara. Do away means annihilate everything. So this is the thing which goes deep and then it totally annihilates everything. Like Rudra, when he opens his third eye, everything is burnt. So when you open your third eye, Arivam veli thiravai, nisam arivai, adu veliyam. When you open the third eye, everything is burnt to ashes. Everything is burnt. Then you are totally free. That is the real freedom. That we should aspire for. As a Dhira, if you are a hero, you aspire for that. Nothing in between. Nothing mediocre. You should aspire for the best. You should aspire for the highest. Aspire for the truth. Not half truth. Intermediate truth. The truth. That alone can help you. Others things can appear to help you, but cannot actually help you.
Swami, there are two leading questions. Inquiring itself requires a mind to inquire.
Definitely.
So, how do I dissolve that?
What is the problem? What is your problem? Yeah, mind is required. Yeah. See, pinam sudu tadi pole. It is said, like the stick which is used to burn the dead bodies in that fire. You know, when the dead bodies are burnt, because of the heat, the bones expand and then the hands will come up like this. It's very scary. We must not have seen. But if you are in the smashana, you can see. When the body is burnt, because of the heat, the bones elongate. The hands may come up. So with a stick, that fellow there, he will hit. Like that, then legs may come up. He will hit. So after burning the body, he will not bring the stick as a souvenir, He will also put the stick in the fire, it will also be burnt. Similarly, even the mind which is inquiring also will subside with the inquiry. Like the stick which is used to pinam sudu tadi pole, in Tamil, beautiful phrase, pinam sudu tadi pola. So that stick which is used to burn the dead bodies in the fire. Like that, this vichara also will itself goes after everything is realized. So we need not worry. Only with the mind I am doing this. What will happen to the mind? The mind will go of its own. We need not worry about that.
In another case, Bhagavan also says, focus on your breath. Is it something?
Initially focusing on breath helps to control the mind. But afterwards you have to focus your attention on the eye. Because that is still deeper and it is associated with the Chit Swarupam. The prana is associated with Jada Sambandham. There is no Chit Swarupam there. There is no light or conscious thing there. It is Jada Sambandham, breath. But the eye in solra, non solra, and the Jiva Bhava, and the eye is Chit Sambandha. So that is still very, very potent, and also there only you can, that is a threshold to the real self-realization. See, to understand Bhagavan, you should read Nisargadatta. He will give more clarity. I am that. Have you read that? So to understand Bhagavan, you should read more and more of I am that. And to understand more of Bhagavan, you should read more of JK. To understand Bhagavan, you should read Mandukya Karika. Mandukya Karika you should read, you should understand, to understand Bhagavan.
What is Mandukya Upanishad?
A commentary on Mandukya Upanishad called as Karika. Not even commentary, it's Karika means expansion of ideas given in the Mandukya. So, it's very deep and very, very, very profound. But it's not cock and bull story. Now and here it can be achieved. It can be done. In fact, Ayye ati sulabham Atma Vichara Ayye ati sulabham. It is very, very simple and straightforward. It is all doable, possible. That's what Bhagavan gives encouragement.
Guruji, on this thing of who am I inquiring, right? Just trying to understand the method, right? So is it like, should I keep that thought as the central thought in my mind, right? Just who am I? And automatically things will, follow and resolve? Or should I try to analyze, right? Like how we analyze,
No.
because I think that will lead into some like stupid...
No analyzing.
No, just keep the thought.
Keep the thought means keep the attention. Or our attention means what? Our focus on a feeling of I within us. See, for us within us, there is an idea, na? I am there, I am going, I am coming, I. There is a feeling. If you give some thought to it, you will understand. We are not giving any thought. That's the problem with us. We immediately want to understand. You just sit quiet and try to find. It's not understanding, standing under. So there is the feeling of I like us, like that. You do not say I. Then if you are a Hindi wala, you will say me. If you are a Sanskrit wala, aham. It is not the sound. It is the idea of I am. The idea. You understand what I am saying? It's not the language, not the sound. Please, it's not the sound. அப்போ தமிழில் இருந்தால் நான் சவுண்ட் கேட்கணும், ஹிந்திக்கான இருந்தால் மேன்னு கேட்கணும். அப்படி சவுண்டு கிடையாது. த ஐடியா ஆஃப் ஐ ஆம், நான் இருக்கேன், ஐ ஆம், That idea is there in all of us. Our mind can be fixed there. With some training, with some sort of experimentation, it can be done. That's what Bhagavan says. See, it's a very subtle thing, but it is a very simple thing actually. It's not a difficult thing, it's a subtle thing. See, there's a difference. It's not a rocket science. It's not quantum mechanics, quantum physics. It's a very simple thing, but very, very subtle. That's why it's become very difficult. Why it's becoming difficult? Because we are not giving our time or attention to it. We are trying to build immediately and sort of a concept around it. Don't build any concept around it. Just give your attention to the very feeling that I am, na irukken, I am. That is the feeling. Spuranam. Spuranam means that is something, the feeling that I am. So, the path is to keep the mind means attention only on that Spuranam. I am, na irukken. அப்படிங்கிற உணர்வையே வச்சிருக்க சொல்றார். With little bit of experimentation, you can catch what he is saying. It is not that difficult. But we are not ready to give our time and attention for that specific thing. Because we are used to build up a lot of ideas and concepts around it. That is the mind's problem. That why I cut him, because that is the mind's problem, you know. Instead of focusing onto the central theme, then now you talk about Manolayam, Manonash, another concept is trying to create. Why should you worry about other concepts? You focus on all this source of all the concepts. I. So that is the thing. So without analyzing, trying to understand, you just give attention. Giving attention is everything. See, it's very simple. When you give attention to the space, I mean the sky, the space, you know what all is available there. Vana Shastra, the Shastra, that you will understand. If you give attention to cooking, you know the nuances of cooking. When you give attention to your children, you can make them a good citizen, wonderful citizen. By giving attention, you can achieve wonders. To know yourself, what you should do? Give attention to yourself. Nothing else. Give attention to yourself. To know yourself, give attention to yourself. Whatever you may understand about yourself, don't worry. The Sadguru is within, who will guide you. Only turn within and try to give attention. You may be doing something very strange or very crazy. Don't worry about it. Because everybody will start doing something crazy only. Because you don't know what it is. It's very subtle. So whatever you understand, you start and give attention. And the Sadguru within will guide you. He will throw more light on that. Nobody can help you from the world outside. The real Sadguru is within the heart as a pure self. He is ocean of compassion. When you take few steps towards him, he comes running towards you. And he will guide you. So, whatever you understand, don't worry. Don't ask me, Swami, don't tell Swami, puriyale. Don't tell that. Puriyadu. Puriyakudi vishayam illadu. You sit and do what you are told. Sincerely. And try again and again and again. Even if you spend whole of this life, it's worth spending because you are spending for the right cause, for the real cause. You may fail 1,000 number of times, but still it is worth trying. And you please understand, he will not let you down. He is ocean of compassion. So he will come running to you. He will guide you. None of us can guide, like whoever in the world outside cannot guide you. They can only help you a little bit. That also, the same power is only speaking through this instrument also, helping you. Not a special instrument, a special person here, no. The same power, the divine, which is there everywhere, is speaking through this heart also. And that is present in your heart as your own self. And that can only really guide you. You turn within and give your ears to that Paramatma within, and he will tell you everything. Whatever is required, he will tell you. And he will never let you down. He is your father. He is your mother. He is the father of your father. You know, he is the most beautiful. So he will never let you down. See, that is why devotion becomes so overwhelming, you know. When you think of his karuna, of his grace, of his compassion, then you are really moved. Then you really, the tears flood in your heart. Even Bhagavan was moved into tears whenever he thought of Arunachala. Serayanil mei neera yuruhi kannira tralive Arunachala. That's what he said. I will just give up this body melting into tears. And that's what he says, melting into tears. The whole body melting into tears, I will give up this body. If you don't come and, be one with me. That's why he sings in Aksharamanamala. Serayanil mei. Mei means his body. Neera yurihi. Kanniratra alive. Kannir means tears. I will just die. I will give up this body. That is the emotion.
You can ask one more question. You talked about attention, right? I'm just giving an example. I'm trying to apply to why am I thinking. I hold a stick. I want to balance a stick. I have to be attentive to it. The moment I close, it will fall. I turn this, it will fall. So there is continuous attention so that I keep it balanced. But what, if I analyze what is happening is, the moment it falls, my eyes is in my brain, hold it like this, or balance it like this. So it happens so continuously that it will become still. But actually, I am continuously giving feedback. Whether it's falling or whether I should hold it back like that.
Even without you, it's all involuntarily it happens. Like it happens by itself.
Eventually it happens. So in the
No, it happens by itself. It's not every moment you are giving instruction. I mean, so it all spontaneously it happens. Okay, tell me.
So my question, I want to apply this to who am I? I do who am I? Okay, I think
doing who am I is giving attention.
Okay, the moment I feel I'm distracted, where will I get the attention or the awareness that I am getting distracted and come back to that?
Yeah.
I need that feedback control, right? To come back to.
Yeah, your mind will tell you.
Where am I getting that? Can I get that automatically?
Yeah.
Or should I think?
No, you will not
Should
think.
be awareness.
See, let us say, I am meditating on Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Suddenly the mind may go into that Sivadasan who has borrowed 20,000 rupees from me. Where has he gone?
Yes, it will happen. Yes.
No, it will happen. Why it can happen? It will happen. So you know, your mind knows, Adi, what am I doing now? Om Namah Shivadasan te ponu, on Kadangaran tape manasu ponu. Then you immediately you realize that you are going astray. So you yourself bring back the mind, right? That will happen in the Atma Vichara also. While doing Atma Vichara, mind may get carried away because it's a habit of the mind.
No, what gets you back?
Your attention, once again, you know it now. See, you know that you are sitting for Atma Vichara. You know the mind has gone astray. See, that is the knowledge you are doing.
That you know and gone astray, you will come back. Sometimes you don't even know.
Sometimes you don't even know.
So that grace comes.
Sometimes when you are not alert, you don't even know. After half an hour you realize, yes. That's why alertness is very important. For the advanced seeker, within a second they realize, they bring it back.
But isn't that grace from Bhagavan?
No, it's attention. Attention is grace.
It hits you back.
Attention is grace. Attention is grace. It is not your attention. It is not your attention. It is just attention. Attention is grace. It is not that His grace is attention. Attention itself is grace. So therefore, immediately you bring back. Sometimes you don't even know for even 20 minutes you are gone astray. That is okay. You bring it back. Whenever you realize, you bring it back. But the biggest challenge is sleep. When the mind is dull, it goes to sleep. Because you have instructed the mind or you have trained the mind to either think of so many things or go to sleep. So when you reduce all the thoughts, it goes to sleep. So the sleep is the biggest enemy. That we have to really conquer. That you can conquer by discipline, by proper food habits. I am telling you, food habit is going to talk about food habits. Proper food habits very important. See, for a rishi, for a seeker, food habits, sattvic mida aharam, sattvika mida ahar, mida means moderate quantity, is very important. And rajasic food we have to avoid, because rajasic food, it provokes your mind. Urmari, it shatters your mind. Tamasic food puts the mind to sleep, dullness. The rajasic food, it shatters the mind. So food is important. And proper resting and relaxing is important. That sattva should be created. Through japa it can be created. Chanting Lord's name it can be created. To hearing to a wonderful music it can be created. Sattva. In places like Himalayas, Arunachalas, Tiruvannamalai, naturally the sattva is there. You come to the kshetram, there is some sort of sattva in you. So like that, the sattva is very important. The whole religious practice is to develop sattva only, not anything else. That sattva is very important. By yogic practices, you can develop sattva. By pranayama, you can develop sattva. So pranayama is very important. I have myself really experimented. When the mind is little confused or dull, you do very good pranayama, pop, mind becomes so beautiful. Pranayama is very wonderful actually. So like that, sattva is everything. To develop sattva is religious practice. To develop sattva is devotion. When once you develop sattva, savadhanikanam sadhana hai. One great Mahatma, Akanthananda Maharaj, North India, great Mahatma, he says savadhanikanam sadhana hai. Be attentive, that is sadhana. Savdhan means be attentive. That is sadhana, nothing else. See, இது மம்மட்டி எடுத்து வெற்ற வேலை கிடையாது. It's not a physical hard work. In fact, it is very subtle attention. See, that is why it is not explicit. வேஷம் கிடையாது, ஒரு வேஷமும் கிடையாது. There is nothing to show off. Nobody even know what you are doing also. Attention means what? It is very, very subtle. Giving attention. That is why it becomes very difficult also. Because we have not learned to give attention to anything. We are distracted a lot. Every minute we are distracted. We can't give attention to anything for a few minutes together. Very fickle our minds. Now with the advent of this mobile phone and the data, oh my God, it has gone to worse, from bad to worse. Shall we conclude? Om Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.